Person you're hunching could be an FBI informant. How the feds used addiction, trauma, and self-hating skinfolk to dismantle and disrupt anti-lynching advocacy in the 1930s. Let's get into it. So in the 1930s, one woman's voice combined with the people's movements to fight against lynching in the South became a terror to the state. Now, Billie Holiday sang a song called Strange Fruit, and this song was written by a member of the Communist Party of the USA under a pseudonym. Strange Fruit told a captivating tale about black bodies swinging from southern trees, and for that, the feds declared war, not on the people that would round black people up to lynch us, but on the woman that dared to speak out about it. Now, the threats from the feds started immediately after Billie Holiday sang the song for the first time, and the feds' strategy was one that's insidious and still used to this day: exploit human emotion and vulnerability. The feds' plan was to find the addiction, exploit the trauma, and weaponize a black man with a badge. The FBI carefully selected a black agent to get close to Billie Holiday. His name was Jimmy Fletcher. He was a North Carolina native and one of the few black special agents in the Bureau. Now, the feds knew that a white agent would never penetrate Billie Holiday's inner circle, but a brother, a man who could code switch, who could sit in Harlem nightclubs and not draw suspicion, he was the perfect plan. The feds' internal memos made the mission clear: stop Strange Fruit from being sung by any means necessary. In earlier posts, I mentioned that even to this day, the feds exploit the need and want for human connection and intimacy to get close to their targets, and that's what they did to Billie Holiday too. Reports strongly suggest that this rat and Billie Holiday were intimately connected. He was in her dressing rooms, her hotel rooms, and he had her complete and total confidence. He even carried large amounts of drugs on him in order to not raise suspicions. Now, there are affidavits and handwritten surveillance logs, and then later Billie Holiday's own autobiography hinting at a man who loved her but always carried a badge. Now, Fletcher gathered the intelligence that would then destroy Billie Holiday. He documented her drug use, her debts, and her moments of vulnerability. He was the black man the state sent to seduce and record a black woman's pain. By 1947, Jimmy Fletcher gave the feds everything they needed. They used his testimony and the evidence he collected to arrest Billie Holiday on narcotics possession. But understand that this was never about preventing drug use, right? Because when it came down to white women celebrities that were struggling with addiction, the feds sang an entirely different tune. For example, Judy Garland was a known heroin addict. The feds didn't assign an undercover agent to seduce her and spy on her. Instead, they quietly helped her. Then there was another white woman who was a Washington Society hostess with a major drug problem. The feds didn't send someone to spy on her. They helped her wean off drugs and kept it quiet because arresting her would ruin her reputation. So no, this wasn't about drug use. It was about silencing a movement. Now, Billie Holiday was black, brilliant, and singing the truth of white supremacist American terror. And after Billie Holiday's arrest, she asked to go to a treatment center but was dragged to a prison in West Virginia and forced to go through withdrawals cold turkey. Strange Fruit was pulled from radio playlists, her club bookings went away, and her cabaret card, the license required to perform in New York venues that served alcohol, was revoked. She couldn't sing in the city that made her famous. The message was clear to every artist and activist: if you demand change to the current order, you will be dealt with. Even after her release from prison, the feds' harassment of Billie Holiday didn't stop. They assigned Colonel George White, a man described as a sadist with a history of planting drugs, to finish Billie Holiday off. He planted a heroin kit in her hotel room in San Francisco, which led to another arrest. Thankfully, she was found not guilty by a jury, and while other artists were too afraid to sing Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday continued singing the song. But the harassment didn't stop there. Even being on her deathbed didn't make a difference to these people. In 1959, when Billie Holiday was in the hospital on her deathbed, suffering from cirrhosis and other issues, the feds arrested her again. They claimed they found a tiny amount of heroin, they took her personal items, they handcuffed her to the hospital bed, and blocked anyone from coming to visit her. And despite her being in medically assisted recovery, the feds ordered the hospital to stop the treatment, and they did. Billie Holiday was sick again, and she died in a hospital bed with police officers guarding her. And you see, the thing is, the feds tried to bury Strange Fruit, but what they ultimately did was cement it as one of the greatest anti-lynching anthems of all time. Strange Fruit gave face to the statistics of the lynchings that took place in the South. She helped give a voice to loved ones who had to watch their family members get strung up on trees. It cast a national spotlight on the barbarity of the lynchings that were taking place in the South, and the song remains a powerful anthem even today.